was it Google or what was the assistant program that when you asked it for a picture of 17th century English royalty eating
Google,
watermelon?
Yeah, it's a Google thing.
My goodness, what this clown world we're in. That's why. Let me just tell you, my new favorite show in the world, the greatest, is Shogun. Shogun is so fucking good because they cannot put a drop of wokeness or modern day nonsense into a 1600s Japanese setting. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing.
But would like a pink-haired character take you out of it?
Yes. Like
the entire cast is black. Yeah,
dude. The first episode, some white people
there's something off here.
It's excellent. So this is my new favorite show in the fucking world. There's 2 episodes of it out already. It's on Hulu. And it's 1600s Japan, and it's a bit Game of Thrones like in that, like, basically the head ruler of Japan has died, and now there's 4 warlords kind of contending for power, and one of them's clearly like our guy, and everybody else is kind of evil. It's historical. It's I don't know the history well enough to know how close they're keeping it, how historically accurate they're keeping it. But it is a historical person and it's historical things. But part of the fun is that I guess the Portuguese had discovered Japan and the Catholic Church knew about Japan, and they kept it like a fucking top secret, not just from all of Europe, from the world, basically. And they were the only ones doing business with the Japanese. And so right away in episode 1, an Englishman and his ship just barely makes it to Japan, and they immediately imprison them. And I don't want to spoil too much of the plot, but it was so fucking gruesome. They boiled a man alive at one point. They boiled a man alive in a giant cauldron, and it was fucking horrific. So there's titties, there's gore, there's like feudal power struggles with like black powder weaponry and fucking samurai swords. I saw at least 2 people get decapitated, like ninja style. It was sick. And everybody's got those cool accents, and there's it's great acting. Love it. Shogun. Can't recommend it enough.
So it's like Game of Thrones, but set in Japan.
Yes.
Wait, is it in English or is it subtitled Japanese?
Depends who's speaking.
Okay. I'd be cool with it being in Japanese.
Incel culture is our natural fucking way. That is how humanity has always existed. There's always been like a couple Chads scooping up all the ladies and a bunch of other dudes like fucking digging ditches and shit. Like I feel like now, if anything, in the modern times, there's more ladies for everyone. Like you don't have like a Genghis Khan scooping up and dumping his seed into half the Mongolian Empire. Apparently, like I'm sure I'm related to Genghis Khan. I'm so cool. You know, I have to be.
Yeah. Cool dude.
I don't look like him.
Yeah.
I get that, but I think that like most.
I know. I don't know what he looked like. You know what I imagine when I imagine Genghis Khan? This is the most racist thing ever. Zach, show a picture of John Wayne, the time he played Genghis Khan, Mongolian war chieftain. Show us that picture, because as much as I get upset, and I do, frankly, like get mad when I see one of my favorite characters now as like a Puerto Rican trans man. It's like, wait a minute, Eric. That's
this is an OC Chopper reboot.
Yeah,
it's not Paulie.
But God, you see this shit? Like this was wrong. God. This was wrong. Okay, this wasn't. And they also used to do this thing with the cowboys and Indians. I can't remember which actor, but there's a scene where he's the cowboy shooting at the Indians, and then they cut over to the Indians to see what they're doing, and now he's in brown face playing an Indian. It's the same guy.
Oh my God. Well, this is what's called color blindness. Okay,
he looks like him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm terrible at faces.
I mean, he's doing. Well, I will say this, Woody. John Wayne's a hell of an actor, so kudos to him. But it wasn't right. It wasn't right. I'm sure there was an Asian man somewhere who could have pulled this off a little, or a Mongolian.
You could have pulled that off, Kyle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could have just done De Niro face, and
yeah.
you kind of have a grimace.
Dude, I think he's pulling it off.
The Mongolian Empire.
Am I the only one?
I mean, the hat and the mustache. The hat and the mustache.
The Empire a little bit.
That mustache is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but his eyes even look
terrible.
I'm afraid to use the wrong
It's
word.
offensive to me.
They look authentic.
I mean, is that guy on the right even Asian? There's debate.
Yeah.
The main guy in Shogun, Kyle. I just happened to scroll by something from Discussing Film. They have a check, so they probably discuss film pretty often. Hiroyuki Sanada, the main actor, said that he had conditions before he would sign on to Shogun, and that one of them was, if you don't hire Japanese actors for a Japanese role, I won't be involved in the project.
Fuck yeah.
And so him doing that is probably a big reason they didn't fucking Netflix it up with a bunch of like ridiculous nonsense that pulls you out of the story.
And for those who,
yes,
a ton.
I would have said Disney it up, but that probably works.
Disney too.
But yeah, I really don't care about that one. I just don't like when they're doing a historical thing or it already has established lore, like a show about Japanese history. If there's a bunch of white and black guys running around, that takes you out of it.
Well, there are.
Now
all right, so that's the thing. So there were white guys historically, and it's about the white guys.
As long as it's historical.
It is. So the main character, the white guy character, is I looked him up. They called him the White Samurai or something. So I'm looking forward to learning more about him, like
Tom
historically. Cruise. Not Tom Cruise. I was joking about how stupid that movie was last night. I'm like, at least when Keanu had that movie where he became a samurai, like Keanu's half Japanese.
Dude, Tom Cruise got fucked up by that Gatling gun at the end.
He's not even tall. Like you would think, like, oh, the white samurai, the big tall guy, like he'll show him what for. It's Tom Cruise, so he's like he's shorter than they are.
He was a horrible representative for us.
I mean, they all die at the
tall
end.
guy.
Yeah, they all fucking get
yeah, if there was a white samurai running around and that's part of the story, then of course it's fine to have.
It's scary as fuck. In a show where you think your main character could die at any time, and it's when he's in a tense situation, it's genuinely tense. It's like that for the white guy. I'm 2 episodes in. I never know when they're going to kill this guy, and I'm going to have to just lose him as a character because he's literally getting pissed on. He's getting beaten and tortured and imprisoned. There's a scene where they don't speak English, but he speaks Portuguese, and they've got Japanese people who speaks Portuguese. So they've got like 2 different interpreters, one to interpret and one to make sure the interpreters tell them the truth. Mm-hmm. and it's fun because the Englishman's talking to this Catholic priest who he despises because he's a Protestant. He's like, you won't tell him the fuck I'm saying. You won't be honest with them. And he looks over at the Japanese guy and he's like, well, he's cursing a lot, but he doesn't believe I'm going to represent him honestly. Like he's legitimately being honest about it. And it's hilarious because the English guy is just, you're a piece of shit. You're a fucking asshole. What's the word for enemy? He tells him, he goes, enemy. Like he's ripping it right away, like rips one of the Catholic priest's crosses off and his rosary. He's like stomping it in the dog shit and stuff. He's like letting the Japanese know that he's a Protestant. He's from a different place and he's got English secrets to tell him. So I'm real into that show. But they boiled a man alive, like I said. So the stakes are high.
Do you feel the same way about this show as you did when you first saw Game of Thrones?
Oh, well, see, that's a hard question because there was already a couple seasons of Game of Thrones out. So right away, I was able
You knew that it was good, yeah.
To get like multiple episodes in. What I would say about Shogun is the production value seems very high to me. When they cut people's the special effects and the fights and stuff, there haven't been a ton of sword play, but there's been maybe a dozen killings with swords. And then again, that man who boiled, all that shit looks good. There's a big like 1600s era pirate ship at one point, and as far as I could tell, it was a real fucking boat. Like I never even questioned whether that was a real boat we were interacting with. Everything's costumes are like excellent. Like when you see the rich people, you're like, damn, that does look nice. That's how a pimp rolled in 1600s Japan. Look at that shit with all those layers, and he like sits down cross-legged and like flicks his fucking robes out and shit. Everybody's very stylish. So I like all that. I like all the sets. Like I said, it looks like they've spent some money on it. And I just appreciate all of that. I think the attention to detail is real important. And like I said, I've just been trying to escape like propaganda. Like I don't want any messaging. I just want a good show, a drama where I don't feel like I'm being like talked down to or tried to be shown an allegory to represent modern struggles. We're in this modern world. I watch CNN.
Exactly.
I'm trying to
that's
escape
enough.
that. Take
Yeah.
me away to a magical realm where it doesn't matter who wins the election. And I don't care who Dark Brandon is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of writers just see their work that are seemingly based on what Netflix, Hulu, and a lot of them do is just like, oh, it's not about being entertaining. It's about this being a vehicle for what I like.
It's the message. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
about
like, what do
sending a
I want to
message.
make this story into? And it's like, well, it's a story about Vikings. So can it be about Vikings? Like, can that be it? Like,
Dude,
please. I'm going to watch that show, Shogun, after this, I think, while I'm
I
eating
like
my
it.
chicken wings.
I hope you'll watch the Shogun show. Since
I'll
you don't
watch
wanna
the Shogun
any of
show.
these fantastic, classic, pivotal, pop culture referenceable, like very important films that you clearly just don't watch just to spite me. Or it's possible that you've just been watching them like and like you're part of a whole movie club that I'm not allowed in, and y'all just talk about like, yeah, Kyle's picks are so great, but
Can
I'm
you
not
imagine
allowed in there.
if that's true?
Yeah, and
And I was
y'all
like,
just
I was
wa-
very well versed in movies, and I just never talked about it.
yeah, that would I think that would break me.
You know,